You have a really strong connection to animals. You sense animals before you see them. You have a gift for being able to communicate with animals and understand what they're feeling. You are highly emotional intelligent. That is why you can speak to animals. That is why animals speak to you. I was driving down my driveway the other day, fixing up my phone, and it's a gravel driveway, really long driveway on property. And I was fixing up my phone, slowly driving down the driveway, and I just happened to look up. At that exact moment, slammed on my brakes as a lizard. Are you gonna run over me? It was disappearing off the windscreen as I was driving. And as I slammed on the brakes to skid a little bit on the gravel, it wasn't going very fast, but a sharp stop will do that. And I was, oh my God, what are you doing laying in the middle of the driveway? Of course, he was getting some hot sun and now hot springy summer. And I was driving away and I was thinking about it and I was, oh, I must have sensed him. I sensed him because I wouldn't have looked up. And I just saw his little head disappearing off the windscreen on the driveway. And so you have a really strong connection with animals because not only are you highly intelligent, but you bring peace and harmony with your light, with your connection, with your star, grounded sense of self, because that's who you are. You have a really strong connection to spirit, to source, to the universe, and in particularly with animals. You are able to communicate with animals that other people can't. You sense what they're feeling, you're able to articulate what they're feeling, and you can communicate with them with practice. So if you're seeing this video, this is a sign that you not only have this gift, it is time for you to train and sharpen your gift with these skills. This is what I teach in Trust Intuition, of course, with my students. And so what you can do, and I talk about this in Trust Intuition, is that you can sense through the walls, you can sense through the forest, you can sense anywhere. Put your little radar out, your little energetic feelers, and you'd be able to sense, oh, snake, bird, bear. We don't have bears here, we have koala bears, not really a bear. Now, a lot of the time, we don't have that confirmation that we're picking up that particular animal. Sometimes we do, like the lizard that's driving. He's like, hey, you gotta stop, why aren't you moving yet? And so you can sense the animals and communicate with them. You know how some people just hit a kangaroo on the side of the road and just keep driving, whereas I have to check the kangaroos on the side of the road to make sure there's no joey in them. You have a highly connected heart to source. You are able to sense the feelings of not only other people, but animals in particular as well. This is your sign to really start fine-tuning these gifts. You might be able to telepathically communicate with your animals or with animals. Look, move your body. It's time to move and use and utilize these skills that you have to practice them. When I hear my animals talk to me through telepathic communication, and particularly there's two of my cats that I've heard specifically. It's not all the time. One time I really specifically heard it. I was looking for one of the other cats and Bear was sitting sort of near me and I'm yelling out, Smokey, Smokey, right here. Because I get so worried if one cat doesn't come back. I have 9 cats, all black, except for 2 black and white ones. I wasn't even thinking of Bear because he's just sitting there. I was calling Smokey. Next thing, I heard so clearly, sort of here, in my crown chakra, really, really clearly, I heard, he's over there behind the sheds. And it startled me. I looked at Bear and I was, just that next thing, Smokey's walking out from the sheds. Because Bear went, he's over there. He looked behind him. Then Smokey walks out. I was taken aback. It's the first time I'd really heard clear, articulate, telepathic communication. When communication from spirit or angels or spirit guides, I usually hear it sort of in my clairaudience just here. So it's sort of just below my right ear. And when I heard this telepathic communication from Bear this day, it literally was, I guess, a crown chakra claircognizant receiving of energy, but I heard his voice in my claircognizance. Usually we hear our intuition through a clairaudience, which is the ear chakras. If you're new here, I teach the 8 chakras and I teach coming down because the ear chakras need to be included. And so usually when we hear our intuition, or we hear songs, or we get the song stuck in our head, or we hear behind the words of what people really say, they're like, oh yeah, I'm fine. And actually they're not. And you can hear that many different things with clairaudience. You can hear the voices of your angels or spirit guides. Not always just there, that's just where I hear them. Everyone's different. You need to find where your skills and your intuition are showing you and what they're showing you. And this is what I train in Trust Intuition, because there's a sort of a basis, ABCs, just like learning the alphabet so you can write. Then if you want to become a author, then you're going to get training or practice writing, etc. So there's a ABCs of your intuition, and then there's building on the ABCs, building on the basics. And I teach from A to Z in trust intuition and the advanced chakra consciousness on top of that. So link in the description for trust intuition. So when I heard bear, I think it startled me more because I heard it in my claircognizance, almost drop in sort of on this side. I heard his voice. He's over there. He flicked his little head around, looked behind him. Next thing, Smokey walks out. I was like, oh my God, I literally just heard you talk. And then he said, yeah, or something. I can't remember now because it was so thing, but he was, yes, you heard me talk. I was like, wow, okay. Okay, next level, what's it? Next level achieved. Game level achieved. Okay, what are the messages is it really important to understand about animals that I'm being called to share right now? So with my 9 cats and my 2 dogs, I've had many animals over the years. I worked in a pet shop when I first finished high school and have always had myriad of animals, rats, you name it. And just the other day, I opened the banana bread packet on the cupboard, and my daughter had just ripped and picked bits from it. And I sent her a photo, and I was like, what happened to this? She's like, rats. And it made me remember our pet rats. I was, wow, I forgot. I didn't forget I had rats. I forgot how many we had at one point. At our old house in Willa, we had, I can't remember if it was 9 or 11 rats. I'm going to have to go back through the photo, to check, because we had so many at a time. And it was this dawning moment. I was, oh my God, I've got 9 cats now. We had 11, found a home for one passed away when I was a kitten, and I have 9 cats. And I had that many rats. And I just sort of, it was this moment in time. I was, wow, is my 9 cats, my 9 rats, the spirit animal? Yeah. Animals will stay with you over a period of they come back. So before I had my German Shepherd, well, I've still got my German Shepherd, we had my Chihuahua. For those of you who have followed me for a while, we would have seen Witchy, my other Chihuahua. When I was living at my old place, he ate some sort of, I think it must have been a poison mushroom because they both got sick and he passed away. I was devastated. And my German Shepherd was sick too, but because she's much bigger, she handled it, whatever. When the rain came up, all these really weird mushrooms showed up one time, and oh my God, I've never seen it. Was like living in a fairyland or what you see on what's that show, Alice in Wonderland? It was like that. It was so trippy, and I think he ate one of those mushrooms. I think they're called a stinkhorn mushroom. They look so weird. So I've had a lot of animals over the years, and it was after Witchy actually that I really started to pay more attention to how my animals were feeling. I know this sounds weird, bear with me. And I think because I was at that time had 9 cats and they were growing up and I was getting them de-sexed, getting them spayed. And so there was a lot of trips to the vet at that time. I was one to the vet, come home, they've got a cone on their head, everyone else freaks out. It was just a hectic time. And then the kittens, so they're all growing up kittens. It was just a hectic time to have a lot of cats. And that was around that time where she got sick and I raced into the vet. And it was so weird. Because I've been taking the cats to the vet back and forth over the last few weeks or whatever. He got sick and of course I was really worried. So I took him to the vet and it just didn't really click. I was like, cool, give him to the vet. They're going to fix him. He's going to be fine. Didn't even think about it. And the next, probably, 2 hours later, vet calls, he's passed away. And what? I was absolutely gutted. And I was so devastated. And I was in shock for a long time because I was like, how did this happen? How did I miss this? And I think because I was taking the cats to the vet, bringing them home, I was taking him to the vet, bringing him home. Actually, he didn't come home. Not only was I very upset for losing him, not at that time, I don't think it changed me in that I understand looking back on it now, but over time I was like, do I really need to race my pet to the vet? And now I might get a bit of kickback from this, but I've also seen some vets on TikTok come out saying that you can save a lot of money by not taking your, pet to the vet. Here's all these, not just natural remedies like carrots or broccoli or I don't know, whatever they were talking about as alternatives to racing an animal to the vet, whatever. Obviously, you need to have a strong sense of discernment and intuition and connection to your animal to be able to do what I'm saying here. So use at your own caution and trust your intuition. I'm not a vet. I'm not a doctor. I'm a healer. I'm an intuitive healer. And these are the things that I've learned over time. And I do teach trust intuition for a reason so that you can have really acute intuition to understand the connection with your animals or nature, people, whatever. I'll link in the description. With this time that I took him to the vet, And then understanding, so these days I have my own sort of little first aid kit, if you may, for the cats. And even, and it didn't happen then, it was sort of over time things would happen. So rewind even a couple of years before that, and before we had all the cats, and my cat must have got in a fight and had a really big gash down an arm, and it was like this flap hanging over. So obviously I took her to the vet and she got it stitched up and everything. And then it happened again to my other to bear actually recently. Must have been at my old place still, and took him to the vet because it wasn't healing. I was keeping the wound clean, but because he kept licking it, and even with the cone on, somehow he managed to get to the swick or whatever. So took him to the vet. Oh, look, I've been keeping it clean. It's not sealing up. It's not healing. I think we need stitches. And she's shaved the hair off and whatever. She's like, oh, I don't think it's worth putting him under anesthetic just for a couple of stitches. It'll dry up and heal. And I was like, oh, okay then. So, and so it did, even with him licking it. And then my other cat just a couple of days ago had the same thing. So they've all had it over a couple of years. Interesting. Keep going. What is that? And same thing, keep the wound clean. Is it going to seal up? Is it not? And it sealed up really quickly. And I was like, okay. And I'm not sure why I'm sharing this information, but I think it's taught me a lot around really tuning in to, for whatever reason. I think I was very quick to always take my animals to the vet because as a kid, I saw my rabbit get put down in quite a horrific way. And I questioned that over the years, or especially recently, it's been coming to mind again. And I was like, why did they do that? And I think that's why I rushed my animals to the vet. But now after these experiences, it's really just tuning in and what is it that my animals need, and sometimes just putting them in a crate in a small area. And if it's something serious, of course I'm going to take them to the vet, but it's really about the connection that you have with your animal and really understanding that. And I think a big part of being a healer, or being someone who is emotionally intelligent and can pick up the emotions and feelings and thoughts of other people or animals or anything, we really do feel other people's energies, thoughts, and what it is that we really need to do or heal in a person or an animal. And over time, you can build upon your skills in recognizing what is it that they need. Now, a lot of the time, I've witnessed so many times that the body knows how to heal if given space with nothing. So often we pump ourselves full of supplements or medications or natural medication, and the body cannot cope. Even like when a couple of years ago, I can't remember her name now, but she found out, it was quite a well-known entrepreneur, found out she was had stage 4 cancer, and all of a sudden she's doing enemas and colonics and taking all herbal supplements or whatever the fuck she was doing. And I was just, whoa, that is not what your body needs right now. It was just overload. The body was already overloaded. It was just, I'm full. And then you're giving it more stuff. And I've really witnessed this so many times where if you just, it's a common sense detox protocol. When you are going to do a health detox for yourself, your body will purge out toxins and you will get sick to an extent. Depending on how sick you get, you will get sick because finally, you're not eating the crap and the processed foods and all the stuff. Your body has a moment of breather to actually rest and start going, oh my God, I can finally clean. Okay, that's why it's called breakfast, because we fast overnight. And if we follow these natural rhythms, we give our body that space to. And when somebody gets sick, the first thing they do is pump their body full of stuff. Now, there's a certain, again, really fine discernment. You have to really not only just trust your intuition, you have to be able to back that decision no matter the outcome. So again, you really have to do what I'm saying with high discernment and take full responsibility and trust your intuition. Okay, I'm not telling you to not do medications. I always say there's a time and a place for medical, and there's a time and a place for letting your body heal naturally. And you have to understand your body. You have to understand the different capacities of what the human body can do on an energetic level, on a physical level, and when extra intervention is required. This is why I train the best healers in the world, because there is a super high level of discernment that is required to be able to work with this. I've had a lot of years of experience working with clients on a metaphysical level, on a physical level, and then these experiences with my animals in the last few years especially have really taken this up a notch, because this is the same energetics. When my chihuahua passed away, when the cat's wound wasn't healing, and then I raced it to the vet, she's like, oh no, just let it heal. Like it was big eye openers in learning where the body naturally has the capacity, where you need to intervene, and where intervening actually puts more stress and pressure on the body and actually kills the person or the animal, because you've just pumped it with so much shit when actually it just needed to rest. There's so many, of course, in tribal days, a lot of the time the body just needs rest. The best healer is sunlight, sleep, and I say fasting. The sleep and sunlight are one of the most powerful, and being in nature are the most powerful ways to reset the body. And again, having that level of discernment on what is the animal needing, what is the person needing, to where your connection with that animal, with that person is required. I am always someone for racing to the doctor, racing to the vet when something's up. Why? Because you're going to get the professional diagnosis, so you know exactly what you're dealing with as a healer. Once you have that professional diagnosis, then you can make an intuitive decision around what is the best for you. I've had a client come to me where her elderly dog was being pumped full of all these painkillers, and they were natural painkillers, but when she first came to me, I was the body's had enough, don't give her too much of that, right? Because we think, we need to give them more and more, and it's I want to say it shortens their life. It accelerates the death in a way. Like, we know that they give you morphine for pain, but you're actually being killed, in a hospital. It's kind of a thing, right? And why is that a thing? Why can't we just go naturally when we naturally go? Whole nother scenario, but it's the same with animals. I've witnessed it. And even with my little kitten that passed away, I actually gave her away to a home, and there's part of me that regrets that, because, and it was a big lesson for me. She had a really, really rare kidney disease. The vet said she's been a vet for 15 years. She hadn't seen it, but she'd read about it in her studies. That's how rare it was. And, and basically she didn't live past 12 weeks of age or whatever, and there was nothing you can really do. I don't know, something about the kidneys just keep growing bigger. I don't know, something. And anyway, before I found that out, I already gave her away to a friend, and I was like, took her to the vet because something didn't seem right. And anyway, she decided to take her. And then she took her to the holistic vet and gave her all these alternative herbal remedies and stuff, and my intuition, I could feel, I was just it's just too much, just let her go naturally. It was like, there's more for the body to process. When we've got something going on in our physical body, there's actually enough going on for the body to already be processing, rather than pumping it full of stuff. One of the mentors that I love is Marcus Rothkrantz, raw vegan, and when he would always share about it, I always resonated with it so much. People want to get healthy and have a pill or have all these supplements, and while that's great, if your liver is clogged, supplements are only going to overload and burden you more. It's more important to clean your liver, get a clean state of body, start on a clean slate, and then tune in, what is it actually that my body needs on a supplement level to help during this time. And so it's really, I'm not sure how we got here, I'm not sure why I'm sharing this message. Obviously it's really important, because I guess part of my healing skills has really accelerated as Malia's really making herself be known. My healing skills have really accelerated over the last few years with the connection with my cats, and really understanding on an intuitive level. And that was probably also increased by my other cat having the urinary tract, not infection. I don't think it's the UTI. It's the one where they get the crystals and they can die really quickly with it. And there was a big experience with him, and we were back and forth to the vet. The vet wanted to put him down, and I knew where the source of stress was in the house because of that. So with many trips back and forth to the vet about the crystalline thing, that brings on through big changes, big stress in the house, big changes in the house that causes the stress. And I knew exactly what it was. I had a man come and stay with me. It was hell. And at the same time, I didn't click at the time. I definitely knew it was having the man in the house. It was a big change, etc. Cats were really stressed out. And it was a little while after all the events that I realized that Milo's favorite spot to sit was actually right under the air conditioner. Now, we know as humans that if you sit with a fan or an air conditioner blowing straight on your body, your kidneys can be affected by that. And Milo would sit right underneath the aircon all the time. And it didn't really click until a while later. And I came out in the aircon and I was like, Milo, you're sitting under the aircon. We can't do this. And so I, had that realization as well. So I wouldn't let him sit there anymore. And whilst I still give him the crystal prepared urinary tract food, whatever it is, he doesn't need it as much. So I noticed as well, giving him that food all the time really it was too much for him. And I noticed that it wasn't like he was vomiting or anything. I could just sense he just had enough and he just wouldn't eat it after a while either. And I was like, I think you need this all the time. So I've got it on hand if, he stresses out or something. But after I realized the air conditioner incident, I definitely know the stress in the house didn't help for sure. And the changes, but with the aircon and me being really conscious of that, he really hasn't had it since then. So that realization as well, I think it's really increased my skill, my awareness, having that connection, the telepathic communication. And we can, look, the bottom card of the deck is trust your vibes. Thank you, angels. Today I choose to trust my intuition and your gut. Oh, I really love this. And look, the two have come out for the final outcome is love and accept yourself. So love and accept yourself of your skills and the depths of your intuition and what it's showing you and why. And then underneath that is the miracle of nature. Oh my freaking God. Hello. You just saw me shuffle that. So thank you, angels, for helping me to reconnect through nature and fresh air. What did I say? That when we give our body a break, when we stop feeding our body the crap, when we are sick, just let it be. There's a certain fine line with that. Do not do this if you do not have the skills of discernment with your intuition about this. Do not stop medication unless you are fully trained as a healer and understand these deep metaphysical concepts, because that's really what we are tuning into when we're looking at the metaphysics. So when we're looking at illnesses, when we're looking at making these decisions, you have to have that knowledge of your body, or your metaphysics, your connection to source has to be strong. That's why in the first 3 modules of trust and intuition, that's all we focus on. And then we go into the deeper stuff, because if you don't have that base foundation and the connection with nature, you can not only not trust yourself, you're not able to interpret the information. So working with a trusted healer like myself or one of my students on my team and Ask the Oracle, and loving and accepting yourself and your skill set and understanding the depths of who you are, there's risk involved with that, of course, and you have to be able to hold on to that responsibility as a healer, just like doctors do, all those sorts of things. One of my cats seemed like he had swallowed something that wasn't a hairball not long ago as well, and I was actually really worried because he just kept coughing and coughing and nothing was coming out, and I sort of did a bit of, I was like, what if he swallowed? He brought up all his dinner and I was like, well, something's not blocked, but I'm like, something's going on, and I was like, do I need to rush him? Do I not? And within a few days it cleared up and he's fine. And I'm just, there's just so many things like that where I think in the past, for me, what it's been is I've rushed to give my power away. I'm like, I don't know, here you go. Instead of really taking that discerning moment or moments to really tune in with the situation, with myself, with what's going on, with the animal itself. And when you have your clairvoyance clear, you're able to see inside the animal, you're able to see inside the human, and you're able to see the energetics and the aura, and if there's any entities or demons or anything else attached. When you have that level of intuitive clarity, then you can utilize all your skills as tools when you are healing, when you are tuning in to a person and giving just a general card reading, or you're actually deep in the energetics and metaphysics of really working with people with physical illnesses, with animals with physical illnesses. And the bottom card is the signs from heaven. So it's really, underneath the trust your vibes, I lifted it up and there was the signs from heaven. So it's really being able to not only trust your intuition, but discern the information that is being shown to you and what that means. Because the thing is that every single situation is different. There is no two situations, people, cases that will ever be the same. They might have similar threads, but there's always going to be nuances. And that's where your intuitive skills in being able to interpret and discern that information is super required. I feel that is all that I need to share for whatever reason about the depth and the connection with animals that you have, and really to trust your intuition on that. I do talk about it in my book as well. integrative healer. You're one of a kind. You can find that on Amazon. And that is, do talk about this because we have that depth of skill. We have that depth of connection. And if you're not confident in your skills, you will dim your light, shun your gift, shut it down, feel depressed, perhaps get sick because you are closing yourself off to your gift and what you're actually here for. So trust intuition, link in the description, like, comment, subscribe if you like this discussion. If you've got questions about animals or healing experiences that you have experienced yourself, and then definitely let me know in the comments below. One thing I should say as well is I use a lot of prayer. So they just showed me the other thing to talk about was Reiki or hands-on healing and stuff like that. And I've definitely done that. So with Milo, when he had the urinary tract crystals, I was using, not Reiki, I don't really resonate with Reiki. I am Reiki trained from a yoga teacher training, but I never really resonated with that. I just use hands-on healing that I teach with Archangel Raphael and any other archangel, and the mermaids actually helped me to understand hands-on healing as well. And I teach this in Trust Intuition. And I used a lot of that with specific lightning frequencies of specific light colors to really dissolve the urinary tract crystals when he was really in the depths of it. And I do feel that it really helped, along with physical massage as well. And I'm not a vet, I'm not a doctor, I'm not trained in that, but this is where your intuitive skills come in to really understand what you're being shown and guided to do. As I was using physical massage as well as, a lot of hands-on healing for him to dissolve. It was specifically to dissolve the crystals, and I was really targeting intuitively them to dissolve because I could see them with my clairvoyance. So I was using that. So you can use hands-on healing, you can use Reiki, but again, it's the same, okay? It's the same as giving a herbal supplement or anything like that. Sometimes it can be too much. And you really must know on a level what you're being guided to do, because sometimes the plain rest is the best healer. And a lot of people will do too much and it overloads the body and it sends them further away. Okay, let me know below if you've got questions or share your experiences. I definitely read your comments, and I will see you guys really soon. Remember, you can't stop consciousness awakening. Well.